A weak employer brand is just an ad spend tax. When you don't have a useful message, you're forced to buy attention. Look, you're trying to grow the company, but you're paying extra for every single hire because your message is generic. Here's the lever. When candidates can't tell why they should choose you, the only option is to spend more money to get noticed. And that isn't recruiting, that's just renting attention at the highest possible price. If you're sick of being treated like a cost center, if you're tired of hearing your CEO say, just hire faster, giving you zero leverage and no extra budget, if you've been trying to explain that employer brand is so much more strategic than just a pretty website, well, you're ready for the next revolution in talent and people. Welcome. I'm James Ellis, and this is Becoming Choosable. And together, we can grow your company from the hire up. Let's show leadership that recruiting, HR, employer brand driving businesses forward by turning people work into growth work. You ready? Well, let's see what the claw machine of destiny has for us today. Oh, looks like we're talking about tactics today. Excellent. Today's tactics episode is about one specific cost to a weak employer brand: increased ad spend. Okay, here's the thesis in plain language. When you don't have a clear employer brand, you don't have useful message. And when you don't have a useful message, you just have to pay more to get anyone to notice you. And that extra spend is the tax you're having to pay because you sound like everybody else. Now, in the real world, I understand employer brand often gets delayed because there's always a real priority standing next to it. Leadership change, quarterly numbers, new office, hiring surge, hiring freeze, pick your excuse. I've heard them all. But that delay comes with a cost. It's not neutral, it's expensive. Because while you're pushing employer brand to later, you're paying the price now in terms of paid media. And I know all the pushback. We get plenty of applicants. We have hundreds, sometimes thousands, so everything must be fine. No, that's not proof that your message works. That's proof that job boards work. Findability is handled. Great. LinkedIn exists. Indeed exists. Your ATS exists. People can find your jobs. Excellent. Your problem is not that. Your problem is choice, because there are millions of open jobs. You're just one of them. So if your message is we're hiring, join us, great culture, award winning, you're not differentiating, you're blending, you're blanding. You see, we're hiring isn't a message, it's an expense, because the moment you say nothing, you have to pay to be heard. Now, this is where the ad spend tax shows up. Now, this isn't just our problem. This is all of marketing's problem. There's a lot of great research in advertising right now that shows that boring creative simply costs more. You have to spend 40, 50, 60% extra per ad to get near the same kind of impact as you do with good creative, saying something interesting. You got to spend more to get the same kind of attention. Now, I'm not going to pretend that recruiting ads are magically exempt from human psychology. They are not. You want me to prove it? All right. Let's look at your own feed. How many jobs do you actually remember from last week? Right. That sounds about right. See, most recruiting ads are ignorable because they don't give the reader anything. They're written like announcements, and announcements are cheap to write. They're expensive to run. And when you don't know what makes you different, you have to just talk about generic things in generic ways, using generic language. And generic requires money behind it. More impressions, more boosts, more spend. A weak employer brand forces you to buy attention, and a strong one earns it. The difference is seen in your ad budget. Now, to take a minute and get way too honest about incentive structures here. You see, ad vendors do not get rich when your conversion rates go up. They get rich when you accept low conversion rates as normal and keep paying to push the same bland message to more and more people. That's how they make more money. Now, I'm not saying that you can just shut off ads tomorrow. You have been spending money on ads for years. Your entire systems are dependent on the traffic and the volume of traffic that those ads bring in. You have effectively been on a kind of sugar high for years, and going cold turkey gets ugly. You got to wean yourself off the system. The only way to wean off paid spend is to stop boosting emptiness. You need a message that does work before you pay to amplify it. Right? If you just swap your message with something interesting, the money you're already spending will start to attract more of the candidates you actually want. And then you can start to bring the spend down over time. A far more valuable message is this. This job is for someone who wants X, whatever X might be. right? It might be autonomy. It might be collaboration. It might be a strong mission. It might be a sense of duty. It might be performance. It might be money. It might be access to the best clients, whatever that is. Being clear in that simple sentence, this job is for someone who wants X, signals fit very fast. Not a perfect fit, but certainly way better than we're a great company and look at these awards. It gives the right people a reason to choose, and it gives the wrong people a reason to kind of just keep scrolling where you want them to be. Think about car ads. No one says, hey, we have cars. Of course you have cars. What they say is we have safety, we have reliability, we have status, we have speed. They lead with what the buyer gets. Yes, they get a car, but there are lots of different kinds of cars. They pick that car because of what they get. Recruiting needs to do the same thing. But most job ads still lead with what the company cares about most. They lead with expectations and requirements and titles, bulleted lists that no one wants to read. Everything is about gatekeeping instead of trying to explain why someone should want this. There's no engagement of desire. There's no saying why this is a perfect job for you. There's no reason stated about why this job makes you feel good or makes you happy or makes your life better. It's about this is what we want. This is what we expect. This is what we're paying for. And then we act surprised when the only way to get traction is to pay for eyeballs. Look, if your ad cannot answer the simple question of why you in the first 5 seconds, this isn't recruiting, this is just shouting. So, here's the move for this week. It's tactical, it's fast, and it costs you exactly nothing. It's simple as this. There's one line you are going to delete from every single job post. You ready? We're hiring. Do not say it. Do not say it. It is completely redundant. The job post itself implies you're hiring. We all know you're hiring. You got to replace it with something that gives the reader a reason to choose you. This role is for someone who wants X is a perfect thing to replace it with. Fill the blank in with something real. And none of this fast-paced, none of this dynamic, wear many hats, none of that stuff. This isn't corporate Mad Libs where you're filling out with fun words. You got to be concrete. You got to be real about it. Talk about how you're going to build something or learn something or own something. Talk about how you are trusting the candidate with something and what they're going to be trusted with. And when you find that that ad starts to generate more interest from the kind of candidates you want, you start to turn the dial down on how much you're spending. Slowly, 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 tick, tick, tick. No one has to know. No one has to be, it doesn't have to be obvious. The hiring manager doesn't need to know that you went from 200 applications to 50 in a requisition. What they care about are the 5 they actually want to talk about, the 5 they actually want to talk to, the 5 that matter to them. They don't care about how the sausage gets made, so try and keep that process away from them, but do it slowly. Wean everybody off the ad dollar. But if you need a little internal cover, I get it, that happens. You're going to get some pushback sometimes. In that case, say this. Clearer messages improve conversion. Better conversion reduces recurring ad spend. We're only doing cost control. And that's hard to argue against. Now, if the CFO kind of gets in the way and saying, okay, normally I'm okay with cost reduction, but aren't we going to lose applicants? You need to say that applicants are not the KPI here. Cost per qualified applicants is, and which means you got to look at the denominator, the qualified applicants. And right now we're paying to attract a lot of volume because our message isn't filtering. So what's one move you can do this week that's really going to move the needle? Okay. Take a look at your last 10 paid job ads or sponsored posts. For each one, look at the first 20, 40, 60 words. If the first thing you say is about you, your culture, your awards, your we're hiring, congratulations, you found something to fix. Rewrite it. Replace that top line with an opener like this. This role is for someone who wants X, and in the first 90 days, you'll do Y, and you'll love this if you care about Z. If you can just fill out the X, Y, and Z for that and make that the top of your ad, the top of your sponsored post, you will be stunned how much better the candidates who apply are. And if you're unsure, simply A/B test it. Run the rewritten version against the old one for a week. Same budget, same targeting. And if the message is more useful, like I'm pretty sure it will, you'll see it in the click-through. You'll see it in the apply start. You'll see it in the quality of inbound. You'll be able to tag it so you can see, of all the people we think are worth showing to the hiring manager, which ad made them click. And you will find very clearly that you have all the data you need to start reducing your ad spend and stop paying that ad spend tax. Because if they can't choose, you will lose. So give them something worth choosing. Be sure to send this episode to the person who controls your recruiting ad budget and simply ask, how much are we spending to amplify a message that doesn't say anything? All right, it's time for the canvas, the choosability canvas. So today's canvas is going to kind of wrestle with a question that I wonder if a lot of people have had. And that is, what happens when your company can talk about their mission way better than they can prove what it's actually like to work there? Yeah, sound familiar? Okay, I want to show you something. The company is Zipline. They're an autonomous drone delivery healthcare logistics company. They literally fly blood products to remote clinics in 8 countries. I mean, super, super cool stuff. Not someday stuff. This is the future is now stuff right now. So I'm going to use the choosability canvas to expose a pattern that's probably happening in a lot of other organizations too. Because here's the thing, Zipline knows how to build proof. They have got the receipts. They got 100 million miles that have been flown. They got 2 million commercial deliveries. They got 8 countries. They got 4 continents. They got 100% emission-free operations. When they say we're building logistics infrastructure that serves all humans equally, that is not a marketing campaign. They got the flight logs, man. But watch what happens when we run them through the canvas. So on the canvas, obviously, first step, we look at a competitor. We survey the landscape. We need to understand who they're competing against. And today we're going to pick Wing. That is an Alphabet's company. That's their drone delivery play. Wing's got the pedigree. They got the funding. They got name recognition out the wazoo because the word Alphabet means Google. And on their careers page, they're basically selling build the future of delivery. Cool stuff. They got explicit career development language. They got lunch and learns. They got fireside chats. They got investment in growth. It is polished. It is structured. It is clearly well funded. And here's the thing. Both companies are selling the future of delivery. But Zipline's got something Wing doesn't. A bit more moral weight. Healthcare access in Ghana, climate impact, life or death logistics. They're not just operating convenience stores here. They're building infrastructures that changes patient outcomes. That's got some weight to it. That's got some real gravitas to it, right? So when we move into position, when you're seeing the comparison between the two, when you're asking, what are you really running on? It's really clear. Zipline is all about being mission driven, which is a rarity and can be very, very valuable. This work matters in a way that most jobs don't, right? They got the proof. They got the quantified impact. They got the global scale. They got real operations. This isn't prototypes. This is happening now. But here's where it gets interesting. Because when we get to the orient and connect sections, we start asking, how well are you expressing this? And the where's the proof? We find something fascinating. They can prove their mission way better than Alphabet and Google can. Seriously, go to their site. You'll see miles flown, deliveries completed, partners served, emissions avoided, all that stuff. It's quantified, it's concrete, it's gorgeous. From their mission proof, A+, chef's kiss. But the employee experience proof is basically non-existent. I mean, they'll say you'll work with brilliant, thoughtful people, which is fine, but show me. They'll say things like exponential growth, but what does that look like in month 3? When they say ownership and direct feedback, great. What's the feedback cadence? How do decisions get made? What happens when you're 3 weeks in and don't know the product yet? What are the ramifications? What are the expectations? They got some employee kudos quotes and they got some value statements, customer obsession, ownership, stuff like that. This stuff every Silicon Valley company says. It reads like leadership principles that you'd buy in a book. But here's the problem. If I'm a robotics engineer trying to choose between Zipline and Wing's backed by Alphabet money and a clear career framework all over the site, I need to see more than we have direct feedback. How strong is the mission and how much are people willing to ignore the experience and the reward structures and sections to get that mission? It's a challenge. There's not a cut and dry answer here. The answer isn't they're doing it right or wrong. They're simply saying this is a challenge that they have to kind of face head on. So let's look at the SAD model and kind of look at understanding how are they honing this? Is Zipline specific? Yes, it's all about mission and that's fine. They're a little vague about culture. Okay, whatever. Are they different? On impact, absolutely. On values, kind of generic. Are they real? Well, the mission passes with flying colors, but the employee experience, there's nothing there yet. Now, when you get to the connect, that's when things get super clear and where decisions probably need to get made. Because from an exposure standpoint, the mission's clear as day, but the culture, the experience, it's invisible. They're not showing you what above and beyond looks like on a Tuesday. They're not explaining what high ownership means when you're ramping up. So if I was advising Zipline, here's what I'd say. You have absolutely proven that you know how to build the evidence, and thank you for that. That's a fantastic example of that. You've done it for autonomous flight, for safety systems, for regulatory compliance, all that stuff. Now, apply that same thinking, that same rigor to your talent story. Don't say direct feedback. Publish the feedback framework. What's the rubric? What's the process? What's the model? Show it. Don't say ownership. Define what we mean by ownership in week 1, month 3, year 1, all that stuff. Don't say exponential growth. Show the mechanisms, the mentorship models, how individuals grow. Is it because they've got a budget and they go take a class, or because they all come together every week and they learn and teach each other stuff? How does decisions actually get made? How do promotion decisions get made? And here's another thing I noticed. They've got to balance this idea of grit and support. And right now, there's a whole lot of strong work signal, right? They're doing amazing work. They're serving people. They're doing the amazing stuff. Great. But when I look at Glassdoor reviews, and yes, I did look, I see below average salary. It's all justified by mission, work-life balance concerns. There's nothing here about how you counterbalance the kind of mission you have. There's no opportunity to say, and this is how we recharge. There's no transparency about workload expectations, and no specificity about what do you do when you start to get fried? How do you maintain that pace over time? This does seem to be, like mission-driven companies can very often be, recipes for burnout. Because remember, you're competing here against Alphabet, and you cannot outpay them. You cannot outperk them. You can outprove them if you treat your employee experience claims the same way you treat your safety claims. You need to turn up your high ownership culture and into something like a named operating system, even a simple one. Show the details, show the documentation, show the processes, show the policies. Give me anything about what the day-to-day really is. Take all those kudos quotes and connect them to explicit behaviors that you're actually interviewing for. Show candidates what support looks like while they're busy trying to change the world. So, in closing, mission in this case is going to get people interested. Proof of the mission is going to get them curious, but the proof of what it's actually like to work there, what the mission is, how it actually works, that was what's going to get them to sign up. Zipline's done the hard part. They've built something real, something interesting, something that matters. They just need to prove the experience side half as rigorously as they've proven the impact. That's the difference between a company that candidates are curious about and a company that candidates want to choose. So, what have we learned today? Well, obviously, if people work is really going to be about growth work, we got to learn to stop saying nothing. We've got to learn to stop spending good money on ads that do and say nothing. Stop paying that generic ad tax and start thinking about, if you're in a position where you've got a strong mission, how do you prove the rest of the experience? Mission gets a lot of attention. It doesn't always close the deal. Remember, if you're trying to grow your company from the higher up, you need to help them choose or you will lose. And don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss any episodes. This podcast is brought to you by Becoming Choosable, available in paperback or ebook on Amazon. And by Employer Brand Labs. Stop walking into the exec meeting unarmed. Bring some strategy. I'll see you next time.